Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to one and all present here for this webinar. I am CA Vishwanath Bobe, Chairman of Goa branch of ICAI. On behalf of Direct Tax Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you for this webinar on discussion on alleged bogus donations, deductions, the way forward, and use of constitution in taxation practice. And we have a very celebrated speaker with us in Dr. Advocate Chartered Accountant Kapil Goyal ji. We are also privileged to have amongst us the Vice Chairman of Direct Tax Committee, CA Vishnu Kumar Agarwal sir. Before we move ahead, I'd just quickly like to introduce our Vice Chairman of DTC, CA Vishnu Kumar Agarwal ji. Needless to say that he is a chartered accountant with over 2 decades of experience and specializes in income tax matters with extensive expertise in search and survey proceedings, Benami and black law proceedings, ITAT proceedings, and income tax litigation. Sir is a Central Council member of ICAI for the term 2025 to 29 and currently serves as the Vice Chairman of the CPE Committee and the Direct Tax Committee of ICAI. Additionally, he is an esteemed member of several key committees, including the Standing Committee, Executive Committee, Management Committee, and Finance Committee of ICAI. As a renowned speaker and author, he has delivered numerous lectures on direct tax and litigation matters across various platforms. He has also authored the book Landmark Judgments of Income Tax, which serves as a valuable reference for tax professionals. He is also the former chairman of WIRC of ICAI for the term 2017-18 and has served as three consecutive terms from 2010 to 2019 as the regional council member of WIRC. He has represented WIRC before various government authorities. He is also socially very active and is a part of various clubs and associations. His professional acumen, leadership role, and dedication to both the profession and society make him a very respected figure in the accounting and taxation domain. May I now request the Vice Chairman of Direct Tax Committee, CA Vishnu Kumar Agarwal, sir, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. My very good friend, the Chairman of the Goa branch, Vishwanath ji. Today's speaker, none other than Dr. Kapil Goyal ji from Delhi, or my staff and or my office of the Direct Tax Committee. I welcome all the participants in this particular webinar today. Today we have chosen the subject on the bogus donation. Friends, this subject we have especially chosen today because last 2 months, the various stakeholders, various person has been searched and surveyed by the department. And when they are confused what we do, how to we revise our return, and what is the ultimate solution for this problem. Friends, that's why today we have called the Kapil Goyal ji, who is not on the author for the this particular topic, but he also tell about the constitution practice, how to way forward. Friends, as a direct tax committee, yesterday only we have released our eminent book on the 44AB revised guidance note. Friends, we have uh, we have our around 40 to 50 chartered accountants have contributed for this particular book. I thanks to each one of them for contributing for the revised guidance note. And yesterday, with the worthy hand of our President Shri Charanjit Singh Nandaji, we have released this book for the each and every for our benefit of our each and every chartered accountant. Friends, same way we are also working for the our checklist for the ITR 127, and in the next 15 days we are also releasing all the checklist for the ITR form 127. Friends, today also we have proud that we have given close by close suggestion to the select committee on the finance bill, and friends, more than 100 suggestions given by the ICI is accepted by the select committee, and the bill is before table on the Lok Sabha parliament. Friends, in the every Thursday we are doing one webinar on the direct tax topic, and every Friday and Wednesday we are doing one webinar under the CP committee. I am also vice chairman of the CP committee, and every day we are doing one and another webinar and seminar. Friends, I will not take much of the time because Kapil Goyal is today, he's present here. Friends, his son is not well. In spite of that, he is giving time for the profession. I know from 2014 and now 2025, friend, last 11 years, whenever I call to Kapil Goyal ji for any of the topic, any of the subject, he never say me no. Friends, this is the love and affection for the profession of the Kapil Goyal ji. Now I request our chairman Vishwanath Bobe ji, the Goa branch chairman, to introduce our today's speaker Kapil Goyal ji for the benefit of all the members.
Thank you, sir, for those introductory remarks and also highlighting the various contributions that the Direct Tax Committee is doing consistently for the benefit of our members. Friends, for the session today, we have a very celebrated speaker who actually needs no introduction. However, as a part of formality, let me introduce CA Advocate Dr. Kapil Goyal ji. Kapil Goyal ji is a practicing lawyer at Supreme Court, High Courts, and tax tribunals. He is a commerce graduate and qualified chartered accountant and fellow member of ICAI. He has been recently awarded honorary doctorate degree by Jaipur, Rajasthan-based JECRC University for contribution to academics. Kapilji is a specialized lawyer in direct tax litigation. He has argued some landmark cases at High Court on wide-ranging issues of reassessment and search assessments. Till this time, more than 2,000 cases he had represented at various judicial forums, including High Court and ITAT. Further, he has addressed more than 2,000 seminars across country and more than 200 webinars at various ICAI platforms. Kapilji keeps special interest in constitutional studies and keeps interest in how Constitution of India could be used by CAs in day-to-day regulatory and representation practice before tax and other authorities. He has also authored various papers on various direct tax and constitution interplay, etc., widely circulated amongst tax practitioners. Kapil Goyal is also been taking keen and active interest in spreading and sharing updated knowledge on latest jurisprudence on direct taxes. So Kapilji is going to deliberate with us on two topics here today. One is discussion on alleged bogus donations, deductions, and the way forward. And the second one is use of constitution in taxation practice. Let us all welcome Dr. Kapil Goyal ji, who is amongst us, and requesting sir to kindly take forward.
Thank you, Bobeji and Vishnu Bhai and the committee members, people, Tusharji, and all the viewers who are viewing me in this Direct Tax Committee webinar organized today on this topic of bogus deductions and interplay of constitution with the tax laws and how we can use Vishnu Bhai this constitution in our chartered accountants working. My kudos to you, Vishnu Bhai, for the efforts done by the committee.
Thank you, sir.
And the momentous efforts, humongous efforts, and the efforts for the cause of the profession, like what you were telling, that this ITR checklist, definitely it's very important thing, it should be an important thing. Because many people who file ITR, sometimes they make some mistakes and that cause some litigation and all these things. And our great friend Bobeji from loving place Goa, and I had occasion to meet him in the recent past also, and along with Vishnu Bhai. So I'm always blessed by the institute people. Like it is like this, that this relationship has different kind of what you say effect, Vishnuji, and it can't be expressed sometimes in words. Definitely, I face some challenges on my personal life. That's there, but today topic was kept for this purpose, that we are seeing in a lot of news coming in the Economic Times and press release from the board that a lot of searches have taken place in the country where income tax department has searched more than 150 sites to crack this alleged, and Bombay was one of them, Vishnu bhai.
Yes, yes.
That that they want to, they say that they claim that they have unearthed a very huge racket of people claiming refunds and taking benefit of these bogus donations. Let me put caveat at the outset, because our institute and myself personally as a academician, humbly speaking, Vishnu bhai, we don't anywhere say that people should take any people should be on the wrong side of the law or should misuse the law, abuse the law. But at the same time, the people who are not guilty or who have not broken the law and who have made bona fide claims, they should not be treated in the same manner as if they are also wrong. So this healthy, with this healthy prefatory thing, you know, today we have two topics. One is this bogus deductions, which we will discuss in part one. Part two, we will try to discuss some important constitutional provisions which we can, which are very immensely useful, Vishnu bhai. Today, when I was in the ITT in the morning, I happened to tell one to ITT member, he said, today our direct tax committee has organized this program. So he was taking keen interest, Mr. Goyal, what you will discuss in this constitution with the CA practice? So I said, what constitution is helpful? So I told
Yes,
himself that
yes.
Article 14, equality clause, arbitrariness, all these principle, Article 265, and many articles. Can I? Yes, yes, Mr. Goyal, you are right. That's very interesting. So the point is this topic may look somewhere academic only, but it has a very serious practical Vishnu by utility. And especially in today's time, when our chartered accountant colleagues, brothers are to face various regulators and authorities, and who, with due respect, Vishnu bhai, are at least on constitutional principles not working as per the constitutional healthy principles. So anyhow, that is a point of knowledge gaining also, and that is a point of upgrading also. So first part is bogus deductions. You know, Vishnu bhai, there has been a report in the Economic Times of, I have prepared a paper also, I will share it with you and you can circulate accordingly. I have prepared two papers, some papers on this point. I will circulate to you, you can further circulate. So there was a news item, Vishnu bhai, on 14 July 2025 in the Economic Times, that it says that Economic Times news coverage says that meanwhile many taxpayers who claim deductions under Section 80GC have received notices from the Income Tax Department. In response, the department has introduced a new facility on its portal. This feature provides guidance for taxpayers who have received notices under 158BC of the income tax on how to respond. Earlier this week, on Monday, Income Tax Department, this is Economic Times I am reading, launched large-scale search operations across the country targeting individuals and entities accused of facilitating fake tax deductions. Officials raided over 200 premises, Vishnu bhai, linked to people who were allegedly helping taxpayers to falsely claim deductions under various heads, including political donations, tuition fees, and medical expenses. Medical expenses, tuition fees, and donations. Three things they are raiding. And various sections. A major focus of this operation was on deduction claimed under 80GGC, political contribution, Section 80G capital C, which allows contribution to registered political parties to be deducted from taxable income. This is ET. Now, what does press release of the CBDT of 14 July 2025 says, Vishnu bhai? It gives a very interesting reading. It is titled as Income Tax Department cracks down on bogus claims of deductions and exemptions. Then it says the relevant gist analysis reveal rampant misuse of deductions under. Now you can note these are the 6-7 sections which they are highlighting in the press release. Number 1, Section 10, Clause 13, capital A, maybe HRA, 80GGC, this political contribution, 80 capital E, that deduction under 80, you know, this tuition fees education thing, 80D, 80EE, 80EB, 80G, 80GGA, and 80DDB. They have highlighted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections. I repeat, Section 10, Clause 13A, 80GGC, 80E, 80D, 80EE, 80EB, 80G, 80GGA, and 80DDB. All these sections, they say they have found in their operation, search operation, misuse of this. Then they say, Vishnuji, exemptions have been claimed without justification. Employees of MNCs, PSUs, government bodies, academic institutions, and entrepreneurs are among those implicated. I read it. Employees of PSUs, MNCs, government bodies, academic institution, and entrepreneur are those being implicated. Taxpayers are often lured into these fraudulent schemes with promises of inflated refunds in return for a commission. You know, Rajesh bhai, what Vishnu bhai, they are saying? They are saying that people are lured for refund, for commission, and then they make this kind of bogus claims. The department is now poised to take stern action against continued fraudulent claims, including penalties and prosecution wherever applicable. The ongoing verification exercise across 150 premises is expected to yield crucial evidence, including digital records that will aid in dismantling the networks behind these schemes and ensure accountability under the law. Further investigations are currently underway. Now, they say investigations are still underway. Taxpayers are again advised to file correct particulars of their income and communication coordinates and not be influenced by advice from unauthorized agents or intermediaries promising undue refunds. Now, why I read Vishnu bhai? Why I took highlighted to our viewers these two things: Economic Times and CBDT press release of 14 July 25. It has a point to say. They say that they have searched various premises, they have unearthed various rackets where people are making bogus claim of refunds, and that bogus claim of refund is in turn based on bogus deductions claim, and in which one of the major item highlighted is 80GG capital C. And there they say that they are in the process of collecting the evidence, and they will also unearth evidence, and they are in the process of collecting. Are you there? And there they say that they will also issue notices under section 158 capital BC of the Income Tax Act, where people will be, or the people who are searched, and 158 BD to ask them to make their assessment due to search operation. Now, probably, Vishnu bhai, you know, I just make in hindsight, because we have to discuss this topic in a detailed manner. I just put in hindsight that there has been a time where people in the income tax law, Vishnuji, has been claiming deduction of scientific research, weighted deduction. And that weighted deduction, you know, many times department has sought to disallow on the ground that the person to whom you have donated, that is the donee, his registration has been cancelled from retrospective effect. So department has disallowed scientific research donation in hands of various people, saying that since donee's registration is cancelled, that too with retrospective effect, scientific research deduction is disallowed in the hand of donor assessee. Now, Supreme Court and High Court, especially Bombay High Court, Calcutta High Court, various High Courts have said, if the day on which you gave the donation, the registration in the hand of the other person was active, then donation in the hand of donor cannot be adversely treated. So, are you getting my point? This law is settled. So, this has a very serious bearing, in my humble opinion. Section 35 wala jitna bhi decisions aaya hai, scientific research wala section mein, that will have a very serious bearing and implication on this issue of bogus deductions here also, in my humble respectful submission, because the situation, Vishnu bhai, is same. Department is now saying, CBDT is now saying that they have searched various people, various sites, they are finding that people are misusing it. Now, who is searched, Vishnu bhai? This is a very interesting thing. As I can understand from this news item and CBDT press release, they have searched many chartered accountants also, I believe, from the news, and professionals also, and they have also searched some people, taxpayers also, and maybe they have also searched some political parties who are otherwise registered under that Representation of People Act. So on the basis of that, Vishnu bhai, now they are saying that various donations and deductions will be disallowed, and people are asked to come forward and file updated return. You know, updated return. Updated return, department is saying that many people have filed. CBDT chairman on the other day there was a news item that CBDT chairman Saab Raviji said that many people in the country out of this bogus donation have come forward and they have surrendered their deduction, Vishnuji, and paid taxes. You know how much tax, आपको पता है विष्णु भाई कितना tax है? How much tax, Vishnu bhai, we have to pay in updated return? It is an enhanced tax with penalty, some inbuilt penalty. So let me go step by step. So this is the point that in 2025, they say we have searched in the Income Tax Act, section 132 is the search section, and in which they found that they have unearthed some bracket of bogus refund claims and bogus deductions. In my humble opinion, Vishnu bhai, first of all, it has to be understood what is the nature of any search action. You know, Income Tax Department has been exercising search action from last many decades. When this section 132 came in 1970 somewhere. After 1961 Act, it came later on. You know, there have been various searches which courts have called as political searches, or which are not as per law, or which are for extraneous reasons. Vishnuji, I'm saying with responsibility, because many viewers who will be listening me will have to appreciate this point, that Section 132 in the Income Tax Act has been found to be misused and abused in various situations by various constitutional courts. Like political searches without any justification under Income Tax Act, search for purpose other than the Income Tax Act purpose. That is known as collateral purpose or unauthorized purpose. Now, can you say, Vishnu bhai, the people who are searched today, and Income Tax Department in these days of 10-15 days, they have come to this final conclusion that entire this is a racket and all these people are bogus donations. Is it proper? And is it the way search action can be approached? That when you do a search action, maybe you are doing a global search action, maybe you are doing a wider search action, maybe you are doing a search action which include 150 more than sites. But does it mean that you in a search action, instead of focusing on collection of information, you start also saying that we jump to the conclusion that everybody who has dealt with it's all bogus donations, and people are asked to come forward and file updated return and pay taxes with inbuilt penalties? Vishnu bhai, I'm asking you.
I agree with you, sir.
This is very interesting.
Yes.
Our Income Tax Department makes search action later, but they keep on the conclusion earlier that this is bogus. Is it not very interesting? They are saying that they are yet to what do you say? They are saying, Vishnu bhai, this ongoing verification exercise across 150 premises is expected to yield crucial evidence. What it means? ये सीबीटी का प्रेस रिलीज बोल रहा है, दिस प्रेस रिलीज इज सेइंग दैट वी आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू यील्ड एविडेंस. तो आपको अभी हाउ यू नो दैट दिस ऑल आर बोगस? Can this inference and be justified on the basis of this naive search action or nascent search action or what you say initial search action? Can it be stated in this background that all these donations are to be painted with the shame brush and people are to be asked to come forward and pay taxes with some penalties? So that is the point, Vishnu bhai. Section 132 has to be appreciated. That purpose of 132, Vishnu bhai, is not to say that it is detection of undisclosed income. Palkiwala Sahab, when he was giving lectures, Vishnu bhai, in Bombay, I read in his one book, by MB Kamath, and there is a very important line I have kept for today, Vishnu bhai. What he says in his seminars, that search is not meaning thereby that search you can't say search is equal to detection of undisclosed income. Please note this line. Search is not equivalent to detection of undisclosed income. He says that it is not like this, if a person is searched, then it is automatically that you have detected undisclosed income, which department is daily doing, and in this case also doing the same mistake. Maybe why they are in hurry, Vishnu bhai? What is the reason for in hurry? Has the trial and adjudication been started in these matters? And can you say at the basis of search of 10-15 days that you are having evidence you are on the conclusion point that yes, it is detection of bogus claim? Finding of bogusness cannot be reached unless and until you have a proper adjudication, you have a proper trial, you have a proper proceedings, you have a proper, what do you say, Bobeji, you have a proper thing that yes, this is a particular bogus claim. So in my humble opinion, first point is this action of Section 132, this is the search action in the Income Tax Act. The veracity of that search action has also to be checked. Whether that search action is otherwise itself valid or not as per the Income Tax Act 1961. There has been various decisions of the various Supreme Court decisions that yes, income tax authorities are empowered to detect tax evasion. But that does not mean that 132 being the what you say very serious and draconian power of invading the privacy right of its citizen, then it can't be exercised for sake of exercising. So, Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Lalji Bhai Kanji Bhai Mandalia and Honorable Allahabad High Court very recently in the case of Pramod Agrawal, has held in June and July 2025 that if a search action is taken for the reasons which are not germane to the exercise of power under Section 132, then court under the Article 226 Constitutional Judicial Review, which we will discuss today in our later part also, that in assessee can always go for writ petition and get its search action validity checked before the Honorable Constitutional High Court and then to the Supreme Court. The first aspect is this, that search action veracity has to be seen. It is not like this that you have made a search action, then it is always valid, or it is always leading to detection of undisclosed income, or it is always leading to detection of the incriminating material, or it is always saying that the people who are transacting in those cases are all making fraudulent, fake, and sham and subterfuge or connived claims. It has to be done. Search is a exercise, and section of such provision, that is 132, is in the chapter of the Income Tax Act, which is heading that power to collect information. Search is to collect information, not for the making assessments, on-spot assessments. So this difference, which Mr. Palkewala Sahab also has pointed out, that search does not automatically mean detection of the undisclosed income, has to be kept in mind. And veracity of search action has to be seen, and it has to be very carefully seen. What is the nature of the incriminating material found during the course of these search actions? And if that incriminating material, which is so-called incriminating material, which department says is incriminating, is not in real sense incriminating. Now, what you say is incriminating. Incriminating means which directly implicates the claim of a particular taxpayer. It is not like this, that if you make a search action and you don't find any direct evidence, but you make your own guesses, your own surmises, your own conjectures, that does not mean that it is incriminating material. Incriminating material is a material which directly suggests that particular transaction is not in accordance with law, and it is giving rise to some kind of undisclosed income in the hands of the taxpayer. So, first point, Section 132 Income Tax Act, search action in the hands of these people, the veracity of that search action has to be seen, and it has to be seen what kind and quality of the incriminating material department has unearthed from the same, and what kind of statements they have recorded, what kind of evidence they have generated, and what kind of statements they have. Three things I am telling: the validity of the search action under Section 132, the quality of the incriminating material during the course of this search action, and third is the statements, etc., recorded during the course of this search operation. So all these three things have to be combined together and has to be confronted to the taxpayer in the reopening or the assessment proceedings. Then it has to be seen whether a particular claim of an assessee is genuine or not genuine. You can't say that you have made a search, an investigation team who has made the search has found these people to be doing wrong thing. Then it does not mean that it is a final conclusion, or it is after assessment, it is after adjudication, it is after trial, and it is after fair proceedings. So one has to keep in mind that search proceedings are not meant to decide the things on spot. They are to just collect the information. So first step is Section 132, sir. And I am telling one citation of Allahabad High Court. My good friends can note this judgment, landmark judgment of Honorable Allahabad High Court, latest judgment, Padam Savroop Agarwal versus Principal Director Income Tax, 477 ITR, page number 453, sir. It's a latest order, 477 ITR 453, where Mr. Venkatraman Sahab also assisted Honorable Allahabad High Court, and Mr. J. Jahangir Mistry Sahab assisted the Allahabad High Court from assessee side. 477 ITR 453, Padam Sarup Agarwal. Then comes Guwahati High Court in case of Pawan Kumar Garg, 465 ITR, page number 31. And then comes Honorable Bombay High Court in case of Balkrishnan Gopal Rao Bhutti, 475 ITR, page number 323. 475 ITR, page number 323 is the Honorable Bombay High Court in Balkrishnan Gopal Rao Bhutti. And fourth one is Honorable Bombay High Court in case of SJ Industries Private Limited, 476 ITR 367. 476 ITR 367. These are the four citations. I repeat. First was Allahabad High Court in Padam Sarup Agarwal, 477 ITR 453. Second is Guwahati High Court, Pawan Kumar Garg versus Union of India, 465 ITR 31. Third one is Balkrishnan Gopal Rao Bhutti, 475 ITR 323. And fourth one is SJ Industries, 476 ITR 367. What all these four citations, friends, says that if a search action under Section 132 of the Income Tax Act under judicial review by the concerned High Court is found to be without fulfillment of the jurisdictional conditions which are prescribed and notified under Section 132, then such action can itself be nullified. So, good friend, note it. Second point arises here is that what next after search? is it like this that every search action will automatically lead to the reopening of the assessment and will automatically lead to the consequential, what you say, reopening of the past assessment in the hand of the taxpayer? That is point number 2. So my friends may note it that after 1st September 2024, if a search takes place after 1st September 2024, the Income Tax Act, that is Finance Act 2024, has again reintroduced the concept of block assessment, which was earlier there. And section 158 capital BC and section 158 capital BD are there. So Finance Act 2024 has again brought the concept of block assessment, which will be applicable in these search cases, which are admittedly after 1st September 2024. So if one has to understand that, Mr. Goel, what is the section in which corresponding action can be taken in the hand of the taxpayer, where department says that due to this search operation, some extra income, undisclosed income or additional income is to be assessed, then the provisions of the law will be in section 158 capital BC and 158 BD, because the search date is after 1st September 2024, after Finance Act 2024. And I may, in this connection, I may draw the attention of my learned viewers to section 158 BA subsection 1 and 158 BC subsection 1 Roman clause A and 158 BD, where it is clearly written that if such action is on or after 1st September 2024, then 148 and 148A cannot be done in only 158 capital BC and 158 BD. BC, section 158 BC will be in the case of the person who is searched, and 158 capital BD will be in the hand of the person who is not searched. But the income arises in the hand of the person due to the search on other person. So please note, if search is taking place after 1st September 2024 and consequent to that some assessment has to be reopened, then the relevant provisions of the law will be, friends, section 158 BC and 158 BD. Now, there will be a notice giving in the 158 BC, 158 BD. There is a provision in section 158 BC that before issue of this notice, there will be an approval and particular approval of the additional commissioner and prescribed authority. Meaning thereby, these notices under 158 BC and BD cannot be issued unless and until there is a prior approval of the particular authority. And that approval of the authority, in my humble opinion, has to be given along with the notice itself. Because this approval is justiciable. You know, sometimes this point comes that what is the meaning of this word justiciable? Justiciable is the legal phrase which means that can you contest that particular act in the court of law for its validity? Can justice be rendered on it? So it is called as whether it is justiciable or not. So approval act in 158 capital BC section and 158 BD at the notice issue stage, in my respectful submission, decided case laws, it is a justiciable. So if an approval is there, the notice has to be issued with the approval, then approval copy has to be supplied to the taxpayer along with the notice, and it has to be seen whether that approval is valid with application of mind and by proper relevant facts. Somebody can ask that what is the purpose of this approval when the first notice under section 158 BC and 158 BD will be issued. This is a very serious issue. The purpose is this: these notices are not issued merely for harassment. The legislature in its own wisdom has specifically in section block assessment new sections has made this requirement that notices cannot be issued without prior approval. So my friends can note that one of the very serious safeguard so that reopening in the new block assessment does not take place in mechanical and casual and light-hearted manner. There is a stringent statutory safeguard, that is approval of the prescribed authority, and who has to see whether the case is deserving to be reopened. Now, in the case of bogus deduction, department is alleging that they have unearthed this thing. Now, approving authority, when he will allow the notice issue under 158 BC, has to confirm that yes, it is leading to some kind of undisclosed income due to so-called alleged bogus deduction. Then only jurisdiction under section 158 BC and 158 BD can be assumed. Otherwise, that approval can be contested to be mechanical without application of mind and against the contrary to the statute provisions of 1961 Act. So please note, section 158 BC and 158 BD will be applicable. I was just opening, friends, the act for a purpose. If you have also act, you can see there is a very interesting language in section 158 BD. This section was earlier there also, but it is a changed language now. There has been some expansion made in section 158 BD. See, 158 BC is for the person who is searched, in whose name warrant and panchnama is there. That is, those 150 premises where search has taken place will be under 158 BC. But for those people who are not searched,
but whose case is to be reopened consequent to the information of search will be under 158 BD, not BC. So what is BD? Section 158 BD. It is heading as undisclosed income of any other person where the AO is satisfied. The word used is satisfied. Satisfied is a word which has received attention of Supreme Court in the earlier avatar of 158 BD in at least 3 or 4 decisions. My good friends can note. First was Manish Maheshwari, 289 ITR 341. Then there have been 2-3 more decisions. Calcutta Knitwears and Super Mall Construction. There have been 2-3 more decisions. Leading decision was Manish Maheshwari. Then was Calcutta Knitwears 362 ITR, and Manish Maheshwari citation is 289 ITR, page number 341. Their Supreme Court, in context of 158 BD, has said that 158 BD notice will not be valid until and unless there is a proper satisfaction note recorded in the file of the search person and other person. 2-tier satisfaction is to be there, and that has to be given in the notice itself, 158 BD notice itself. That is a judgment of Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Manish Maheshwari, 289 ITR 341 by Honorable Justice S.B. Sinha. And this judgment has been also echoed in the subsequent rulings of the Supreme Court in the later on stages. But to cut short the thing, this word satisfied is a very serious word. That 158 BD notice cannot be issued unless the particular AO is satisfied. Now, who has to be satisfied? The officer of the raided person, the searched person, has to transmit to the assessing officer of the other person, that is the non-searched person, that there is some incriminating information or the material emerging out of the search action. So action is proposed in the hand of non-search person. This kind of satisfaction note has to stem out, has to be there first from the search person assessing authority, qua non-search person, each non-search person. And then non-search person assessing officer will again apply his own mind in the independent manner that whether this is a case deserving to be reissued under 158 BD. So my friends, I am telling you, 1-tier protection in 158 BC and BD is approval of the prescribed authority, prior approval, not subsequent approval, prior approval to the notice. And second, in 158 BD, for non-search person who are not searched, there is a requirement in the statute that there has to be proper satisfaction. So whenever any 158 BD comes to your taxpayers due to this new search action of 2025 July and after 1st September 2024, please kindly take note whether these jurisdictional parameters and thresholds are properly fulfilled or not. Let me correlate practically. There has been some cases, friends, where search have taken place in November 2024 according to department on some political parties, some registered political parties and some part of the country. And on the basis of that, and that is after 1st September 24 in November 2024, department has issued to our assessees, some assessees, notices under section 148 on the basis of search after 1st September 24. In my humble opinion, it is totally wrong, because statute says for search action after 1st September 2024, the relevant action can be taken only and only under section 158 BC for search person and 158 BD for non-search. So I have answered this second point also, that on how the assessment process have to be begun, if at all. And I'm telling you, my friends, that this 158 BC and 158 BD notice, this protection of approval and this protection of satisfaction note has to be very closely seen. And I'm telling with all due respect that this is justiciable. This can be challenged before the courts and this can be contested before the concerned authority also. You can file objections when you get this notice. Please supply us these documents, that is the approval. Please supply us the satisfaction note, and then you can also challenge the veracity of those satisfaction and approval before the same authority and request him to dispose your objection by separate independent speaking order. And after that, if they are not disposing and following your objections, then you can take them in the High Court in the writ jurisdiction under Article 226. So I believe, Bobeji, there are 2 points which we have discussed. One point is section 132, search action.
Yes, sir.
Validity of search action, Bobeji. You can also open your video, Bobeji. You are a handsome man. I want to see your face. That is a kick. 158 BC and 150 and your smile. 158 BC. Second point, you got my point, sir. That search action validity. Department, you know, Bobe bhai, that they are doing this search action. They are treating it as they are treating that it is the end of the road, whereas search is the beginning of the road. So all these actions which they are, in my due respect, they are telling us, suggesting that all these claims are fraudulent. It is too premature. It is what you say. It is precautious. It is premature. So 132 का section 1 search action का validity you can always challenge. I have given 4 citations: Bombay High Court, Guwahati High Court, and Allahabad High Court. Second, I had told Bobe bhai the very important point that how these cases are to be reopened under 158 BC and BD, which is a very strict, stringent law. You can't say that Kapil Goyal is an employee who has claimed donation to a particular political party, which according to Income Tax Department is a fraudulent claim. They can't just make a allegation and then make addition. They have to properly assume first jurisdiction also. And in which section jurisdiction can be assumed? 158 BC and 158 BD. What has happened, you know, Bobeji, for the search after 1st September also, they have made such a blunder that they have used 148, which is totally wrong provision. They have not used 158 BC and BD. And I'm telling one point which you have noted, I believe, there is a very important thing, approval. Before issue, the concerned authority has to take approval and record satisfaction. And without that, you can't issue me the notice. Are you getting my point, sir? So these two things, you are right, is there. You can always contest them before the same AO. You can take them in the writ also. Third point, Bobeji. Who will prove a donation is bogus? Let us say, Vishwanathji, you have made some, I am taking your example for sake of interestingness. You have made some donation to a political party and department says this registered political party to whom you have made donation and claim deduction under section 80 GC. Now, what is 80 GC? First, let me read for my viewers which department is attacking. The section says, Bobeji, in computing total income of an assessee, being any person except local authority and every artificial judicial person wholly or partly funded by government, there shall be deducted any amount of contribution made by him. The word used is, there shall be deducted any amount of contribution. You are noting this word contribution in the previous year to a political party or an electoral trust. What is the definition of the political party for the purpose of the section 80 GGC, sir? Political party means a political party registered under section 29A of Representation of People Act. You tell me, Bobeji, you must have clients that people have made political contribution to registered political party. And you know, there is a proviso to this section that no deduction shall be allowed under this section in respect of any sum contributed by way of cash. Only in banking channel you can make. So, Bobeji, you must have various clients who must, in the country India, a lot of people are there who have made contributions to these registered political parties under section 29A of Representation of People Act. My first question is this: what is the compliance which you do check? Because I don't file return, you people tell that if you have a client who has made this contribution, what you see when you claim this deduction in your ITR? Please tell me, sir.
Receipt may be from the political party.
But you also check that this is registered under 29A of the Representation of People Act. So my point is this, that people, and you have made by check, there are two criteria. See, you can note, please. Section 80 GC in simple words says two requirements. It should be in check, not in cash. Second, sir, it should be to the political party registered under section 29A of the People Act. Now, in my respectful understanding, Bobeji, the department is not doubting the non-fulfillment of these things. Are you getting what I'm saying? What they are saying? They are saying people have given check to the registered political party, but all these are fraudulent and there have been some cash circulation that you have taken some kind of entries. You have made contribution through check to the registered political party, but according to the allegation and the department's version, that people have given check but taken cash back. But question arises that if I am making a contribution today to a political party and those two conditions, Bobeji, on the date on which I am claiming this deduction are duly satisfied, can this subsequent thing which department is today doing after a lot of years, is it good enough to recall or relook at my claim which I made in the past? That is my humble question to you. It is not scrutiny, sir. It is reopening now on the allegation of such proceedings. And on the day when you made the claim, in my humble opinion, department is not doubting that you have made it in check, condition complied, tick mark. You have made to registered political party, tick mark. Allegation is this, that this is cash circulation, this is entry, this is fake claim. And second, they say कि you have made this claim to the political party जिसका India में कोई बहुत ज़्यादा वो नहीं है. There is no name. You know, all these things are I am knowing from the cases which we are hearing. So my question is this: ki 80 GGC condition is what? It should not be in cash, A, and secondly, it should be to the political party registered under 29A, Tusharji. It can't, if these conditions are satisfied on the day on which you are, that's why I opened Bobeji from Scientific Research Section 35. You correlating now? What court said in context of Section 35? The day on which you are making claim of scientific research and you are making donation to the other institution, that is valid registered institution, and you are making proper payment to him, then it can't be subsequently on the basis of any subsequent thing, it can't be withdrawn in the hand of the donor. Same analogy should apply in the hand of 80 GGC also. Are you getting my point? So I checked Bobeji, this section, you know how this 80 GGC section was born in Income Tax Act. What is the mother worm of this law? Which is the hot, you know, this section was not born from Income Tax Act, Finance Act, Tusharji. This section, you can note, was born from Election and Other Laws Amendment Act of 2003. Please note, it's not Income Tax Act, Finance Act, budget. It is Election and Other Related Laws Amendment Act 2003. It's very important, Bobeji. Election and Other Laws Related Amendment Act 2003, dated 11th September 2003. It was an election law moved by Mr. late Jaitley Saab on 11th September 2003 in the parliament, due to which amendment in the election law, this section in the Income Tax Act 80 GGC Tusharji was also inserted. Now, what the this speech of Mr. Jaitley Saab in the parliament stated, this is very important, Bobeji, because all this department story to disallow 80 GGC, in my humble opinion, is squarely addressed by this 5-6 lines which I am reading for my viewers, which are part of the speech of Jaitley Saab of 11 September 2003 while moving and bringing this section. Quote him, in order to incentivize contributions, in order to incentivize contributions to be made by check, a procedure has been streamlined in this bill that contributions can be made by check as far as individuals are concerned, partnerships are concerned, and HUFs are concerned. This is a private money of individuals. Bobeji, note, the Jaitley Saab is saying this is private money. If you are making in cash, you are free to make any amount. There is no limit imposed on it. But as far as companies other than government companies are concerned, because it is shareholders' money, there is upper cap of 5% imposed under the Companies Act. More than 5% of profits cannot be contributed. Now, next lines, 4 lines, Bobeji. Whatever is the amount so contributed, in order to incentivize donations by check, incentivize the donations by check. An amendment is being brought in the income tax law, wherein a suitable deduction as admissible expenditure for the amount so contributed would be available to the donor under the Income Tax Act. This is intended so as to incentivize persons to give donations to particular parties by check. I repeat this line. This is intended so as to incentivize persons to give donations to political parties by... Sir, this memorandum, this words of Jaitley Saab while bringing this section makes it very clear, like the light of the day. Maybe this light is dark for the department, but this light is clear to me. You were saying that please turn off fade your light, Mr. Goel, your background is very light. So Tusharji, sorry, somebody was saying that. So this is a kind of that thing. Department has that gloomy light, but I have a proper light. What is this light? This light says, if you are making a donation by check and it is to the political party, it is private money of the individual. There is no cap fix. So no question asked. That how you decide, you know, Bobeji, what are they now saying? They say, how you know this political party is a good political party to be giving donation? Let us say in Bombay, Goa, some political party is there at regional level. You make contribution to me, it is registered and by check. The words which I read of Mr. Jaitley, can it be doubted by this kind of subsequent search action? I'm asking this question to myself. Answer is emphatic, no. So this is Tusharji there in my paper, 80 GGC, this Jaitley Saab's words, this Economic Times, and this press release, and this question answer. But I come to this point that third question. One, I took section 132 validity. Second, I take BC and 158 BC section, 158 BD section. Third, I am taking that on whom the onus lies to prove that the donation is concerned is bogus. And what is the meaning of term bogus, Bobeji? Tell me. What do you know by bogus? Bogus. बताएं सर, बोगस क्या होता है?
जो है ही नहीं.
जो है ही नहीं मतलब इसको अगर शास्त्रों की लैंग्वेज में बोला जाए, स्पिरिचुअल सेंस से, जिसका अस्तित्व नहीं है, हमारा अस्तित्व नहीं है, ये मिथ्या है, हैं? It is myth, it is fictional, it is in air, it is without substance, हैं? In language of chartered accountants also. So, you know, department says everything is bogus according to them sometimes. Sorry. Because जो उनको पसंद नहीं आता है, वो bogus हो जाता है. You are not offended and should not be. I'm saying with all humility at my command. You know, the department does not like anything. It is labeled as bogus. This is a classical way of treating something as bogus. You charge something as bogus, you say something as bogus, you treat something as bogus, but you don't know what is the requirement to say, sir, it is a bogus. To say something as bogus, you have to prove it. You have to bring the relevant evidence for that. You have to say that how you are inferring this, that this particular donation which Kapil Goyal in his ITR has claimed under ATGC, this particular donation is bogus, then it has to be correspondingly incriminating and direct evidence for same. You can't generalize it. You can't make vague allegation. You can't make surmises and suspicion. You can't make guesswork. You can't go on rumors. So onus to prove that a donation is bogus is on the revenue, and it cannot be discharged unless and until there is cogent, direct, clinching evidence for the same. Because if you start saying something is bogus, but you don't have relevant evidence for the same, then it is against the constitutional and the taxation principles. Bogusness cannot be established by mere allegations. It has to be established by evidence. It has to be established by material. It has to be established by some concrete thing. It has to be cogent thing. You know what is they are saying? They are saying that we have made a search, and this search we have got to know that these are bogus. I can't digest it. To say something as bogus, it has to be proven bogus. And question is this: who will prove bogus? Will assessee prove his donation to be genuine, or will department first prove donation to be bogus? This is the question. On whom the primary onus lies? On whom the first burden lies? So, sir, there is a direct decision of Bombay High Court in case of Ashok Kumar Rungta, that though it was in bogus purchases case. Citation of Ashok Kumar Rungta versus ITO is 474 ITR 160. 474 ITR, page number 160. That to prove a claim and purchase or deduction as a bogus, revenue ke upar onus hai. The onus is on the revenue. 474 ITR, page number 160. And there is an old decision of the Supreme Court, which my friends, many friends may be aware, KP Varghese 131 ITR, page number 597. That burden to prove positive fact is on the revenue. Assessee cannot be asked to prove the impossible negative burden. You know what Tusharji negative means? I can't be asked to prove negative that it is genuine. First department has to prove positive. That is what Supreme Court said in case of KP Varghese 131 ITR, page number 597, that revenue has to prove the positive allegation. All these cases, sir, whether it be bogus deduction now, donation, all this. And before this, you know, Tusharji, there has been a history of departments cases on bogus deductions. Scientific research I told earlier, but there has been a very detailed cases, and today also going penny stock. You know, penny stock, section 10, clause 38 exemption cases, bogus, alleged bogus penny stock, long-term capital gain. That is again a case where department is saying that it is a bogus exemption. There are cases where you are again saying that there are purchases which are made bogus purchases. So they are also kind of a deduction expenditure which you are saying bogus expenditure. But you know, courts have not treated like bogus like this, that just because department has treated it to be bogus, just department has given notice of reopening, just department has made some search action on some so-called XYZ person. It does not mean that all his dealings with all the persons in the country or the world are becoming bogus. This is not the way the law goes. Case-wise, transaction-wise, you have to prove that it is bogus. Who has to prove? Are you noting case-wise and transaction-wise? If Kapil Goyal ka case you have to reopen and say it is a bogus donation, then Kapil Goyal case you have to establish that it is bogus. Tushar Sharma case you have to establish. Vishwanath Bobe case you have to establish separately. You can't say in one search action who have made this opinion, then it is applicable and block. Onus to prove that donation is a bogus claim is a bogus claim. So I was asking, sir, what is the meaning of the term bogus? You know, bogus word has been defined in various dictionaries. And Mr. Bobe rightly said, jo hai nahi, this is totally, see, which has no basis, which is in total air, which is maneuvered, which is fabricated, which is false, total false. But Sharmaji, this kind of bogus definition, which our great friends in the revenue people are following, in my humble opinion, that is totally wrong. Courts in the past, in various high courts and even Supreme Court, I have given citations that bogus cannot be said on mere gut feeling, on mere, what you say, on your wishful thinking. imaginations. You can't say bogus. Bogus is a very serious charge. You know, when they say in the press release that we have claimed this claim to be bogus, I don't know, with due respect to the, I'm a small man. I have very little and limited knowledge. But with all due respect, I don't understand what is the parameter that by which they have inferred that it is bogus when the things are at the nascent stage and in the beginning stage. You know, a baby is infant, you know, na, infancy. So it is a 10 days search action. You came to the view that it is bogus. What trial you have done, what assessment you have reopened, what cross-examination and confrontation of back material you have done, what natural justice you have followed, all these things will be done. Then you can come to the conclusion it is bogus. Or usse pehle you will get to know some kind of thing will come in your mind from the God and you will come to the senses. But this is very, you know, how much pressure it has created to various taxpayers in the country that they are asking, sir, people like us, lawyer like Kapil Goyal, that, sir, what we should do now? We are in a sleepless nights. But I am saying, sir, this onus to prove bogus is on the department, and that can be, sir, discharged only by reference to cogent material, Sharma ji. And there are a lot of decisions. I have given in my paper some reference, and I have given you citation of KP Varghese 131 ITR 597 and Ashok Kumar Rungta 474 ITR 160. And there is a decision of Patna High Court, Honorable Patna High Court in Narayan Kumar versus PCCIT. This is also bogus purchase, alleged bogus purchase case. The court has said assessee cannot be asked to prove negative. You can't be asked to prove negative. So let us take a pause. Some people, Sharma ji, said that we will go and surrender it in the income return, updated return, and pay tax. I am not there to stop them. They let them do. But it is their choice that they want to go by the, what you say, fair assessment process, or they want to, just as you say, before start of the war. You know, when the Mahabharata was taken place and when Lord Krishna said to Arjun, why this battle has to be fought out. So a person is surrendering before the Yuddha. So, okay, department is right. I am wrong. And I am paying tax. Oh, Kapil Goyal, what is Kapil Goyal problem? I am not getting anything. You are giving to me. No, sorry. But you have to understand that department has to first assume jurisdiction 158 BC BD. Department has to record satisfaction and take approval. Then department has to discharge this burden that this is, yes, it is bogus. And then department, fourth point, principle of natural justice in all these cases, Sharma. In my respectful view, whenever the assessment in these cases has to take place, one has to be very, 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 very clear that without two things being done, department can never progress in the assessment also. Number one, you can note, confrontation of the relevant seized back material gathered by the department. What I'm saying, confrontation of the relevant seized back material gathered by the income tax department in the search proceedings, namely statements or any evidence. If this material is not confronted to the assessee, whenever the assessment proceedings are started under 158 BC and BD, nothing can be done. Gadi cannot move. Vehicle will remain there at the parking bay. Second point, cross-examination of the people on whose statement department is relying. 2 points, sir. Confrontation of the back material and cross-examination of the revenues witness. So, Sharma ji, you know, I'm taking example where they have, I was saying that they have given 148 on this alleged 80 GGC bogus. They are neither confronting the back material, they are no providing statement, and they are not at all giving any cross-examination. These two things, you know, what is the importance of confrontation and cross-examination, sir? Without confronting the back material and cross-examination, nothing can be imputed and implicated to the taxpayer. Take a point. In the search action, there can be no cross-examination. Search action is a collection of information. Can you say that in the search action of 150 premises, you have done this thing? Have you given the cross-examination to thousands of donors in the search proceeding of 150 people? It is bizarre. It is egregious. It is shocking. And it cannot have the imprimatur of the legal law, master of the law. So one has to say, see that whenever assessment, first you have to reopen the assessment, then you have to discharge the onus, then you have to give confrontation, cross-examination. You are saying, no, nothing. We know you are, it is a bogus claim. Come and pay taxes to us and go sleep. We will not screw you. Is it the way? Is it the way the taxes can be collected? And is it the way people of this country can be asked as per constitutional ethos and as per the, which I'm next topic is there. Sir, I'm sorry. With due respect, unless and until, and whenever your cases are reopened, please insist on proper confrontation of the back material and cross-examination. That is my humble suggestion to all of you, sir. Next point. Point number 5. Whether the revenue is duty bound to supplies. First, I took section 132. Second, I took 158 BCBD. I'm repeating. Third, I took onus on whom to prove the bogus donation. Fourth, I took this cross-examination and confrontation. Bobeji, you want to add anything?
No, sir.
You are okay. You are. You want to say anything, sir?
No. Continue, sir.
You know,
Continue.
Bobeji, I was saying that all these bogus donation cases, that they are saying that they have collected lot of material. But I'm telling you, until and unless that assessee's case, whenever it is reopened, that material is provided to the taxpayer and it is cross-examined, nothing can be done, sir. And it is too premature, sir, to say that these are bogus.
Yes.
It is like creating a sensation. In a film and movie, you see, there are some movies in which sensation is created or some filmy things. That this is, sorry, I'm saying with responsibility at my command, this is sensationalization. And law does not work on sensationalizations. Law works on principles of terra firma, principles of the law. It does not go by this kind of whims and fancies. 5th point, whether revenue is duty bound to supply sanction to the assessee, answer is yes. I have told you. Along with the notice of 158 BC-BD, whenever it will come, the sanction copy has to be provided to the assessee, and it is the right of the assessee to contest it and to get it along with the notice itself. Now I ask you, Bobeji, and Tushar, you can also tell from your general sense also otherwise. If this donation has to be disallowed, in which section addition will be made? This is a very interesting question. Whether it can be added under section 68, 69, 69A, 69B, 69C, or whether it will be simple disallowance of the deduction and total income will be increased. Tell Bobeji. I am a taxpayer who filed an ITR. I claimed 80 GGC. Department now says it is bogus deduction. Question which is I am asking humbly to you, all of you and myself.
Second.
Tell Tushar. Which section? Your voice is not coming, Tushar.
Sir, GTI को increase करेंगे and
TI को increase करेंगे. You are right. You know, and Bobeji, what do you want to say?
yes, sir. I think section.
Yes. Department has a point, you know what they are luring people. Sorry, they say people are lured for bogus claims. I am using this point, this word for them. They are luring people that your deduction will be disallowed in section 69, 69A, 69C. Please read these sections for me. 68 applies for unexplained cash credit. 69 applies for unexplained investment. 69A applies for unexplained money. 69B applies for partly unexplained investment. And 69C for unexplained expenditure. It is none of them, because when you will disallow my deduction in the ITR, my total income, which was less, will become more, and it will be taxed at the slab rate. It cannot be 115 BBE. It will be normal income which will be increased. Are you getting my point, Bobaji?
Yes.
So department has made a impression that all these cases of bogus deduction will be directly taken to section 69, 69 capital A, 69 capital B, 69 capital C. As per the settled decisions of various high courts and tribunals and other Supreme Court, 69A, etc. cannot be applied like this. Only disallowance can take place in my deduction, and my total income, Tushar, can be increased, and which will again be taxed at the normal rate, not at special rate of 115 BBE. Am I there? So this is next. Yeah. This is very important. You know why, Bobeji Chairperson, these people are asking that to create a pressure that you come forward and pay these taxes in updated return. And you can now make a point, and who is luring who? Who is luring who? Next point, 6th number point. whether revenue is bound to make independent inquiry and examination under section 133(6) and 131 during assessment. If your case is reopened on alleged bogus duration, whether AO can just apply the investigation wing report and disallow it, or whether AO is supposed to issue 131 and 133(6) notices and make independent inquiry and examination in the assessment of the concerned donor. Separate inquiry in each donor case. Or can they make a just cut copy paste of investigation wing report, appraisal report kind of thing? There is a Chhattisgarh High Court decision, landmark order, you can note, Surinder Kumar Jain, 472 ITR, page number 346, sir. This is landmark order, 472 ITR, 346. In all income tax assessments, assessing authority has to make his own homework, independent inquiry. He can't simply rely upon appraisal report of investigation wing. That is Chhattisgarh High Court decision in Surinder Kumar Jain, 472 ITR, 346. So, Tushar, you know what I'm saying? That department has to make independent inquiry and examination in the assessment, and it can't rely on investigation wing recommendation as such. Next point, whether some taxpayers filing updated return is valid basis to draw adverse inference against other taxpayers. You know, Bobeji, what this question is? Department says ki sahab, is this, Tushar is smiling, that many people have come forward, unko dar laga, unhone tax de diya. You others have also to do the same thing. My question as a humble point is this, student of law, if act of some taxpayers will bind the other taxpayers. Tell me. Supposingly 10 donors are donating to one political party. Department is saying that 2-3 have come forward and paid tax on updated return out of Gabrat, etc. Whether other 8 or 7 have to also follow the suit, or they are entitled to have fair assessment.
They are entitled to have fair assessment.
Sir, this is my view, sir. The view of some taxpayers, which is a personal view of the taxpayer, cannot be superimposed on other taxpayers. Bobeji, this is a very serious issue. Department is saying that some taxpayers have filed updated return, so others should also follow the route. So, Tusharji, this is not right. Against first principles. Next point. Whether if the assessee am I there, Tushar bhai? My voice coming? Whether if the assessee declares the said amount in return filed in pursuance to 158 BC notice, etc., can penalty be levied? Supposingly you get the notice under 158 BC section, and after that you file the return, Tusharji, whether penalty can be levied just because you have offered it for tax in the return filed pursuant to notice of 158 BC? This is a very interesting question. I repeat. Supposingly, after this so-called bogus donation racket, they say that we are issuing you 158 BC. A taxpayer files return in 158 BC section with enhanced income, with normal income, with enhanced income in the block income. Can penalty be levied just because he has surrendered it in the BC return? Answer is no. Kerala High Court judgment is there. Ambadi Krishna Menon, 471 ITR, page number 366. Ambadi Krishna Menon, 471 ITR 366. And you know, block assessment also has a penalty section 158 BFA, block penalty. In my opinion, Sharmaji, the mere act of payment of tax cannot be equivalent to saying that the assessee is to be penalized. For penalty, there is something more required to say that yes, assessee has really indulged into some fraudulent act. So mere payment of tax is not giving license to the authorities, revenue authorities, to leave a penalty. Are you there? So for that, I have given a citation of Kerala High Court in Ambadi Krishna Menon, 471 ITR 366. So my conclusion is this now on this point. Mere one-sided view made by the revenue on basis of search operation cannot be basis to finally infer that some tax evasion has taken place, as there is growing tendency on part of revenue officials to preempt the issue based on initial search action, which has been deprecated in various honorable court decisions, that search action is to gather information and not to conclude the tax assessment. And importance of fair and justified tax assessment in light of Article 265 of Constitution of India must be strictly adhered to, as highlighted by Apex Court in Rajiv Bansal case. What I said, Tushar bhai, in this, concluding that search action by the department is the beginning of the road, not closing. It does not infer undisclosed income in the hand of the assessee. There has to be proper step-by-step approach, 158 BC notice, sanction recording, satisfaction recording. Then there has to be owner's discharge, step-by-step, 158 BC BD, sanction, satisfaction. Then second point, owner's discharge. Third point, confrontation of back material. Fourth point, cross-examination. The next point, independent inquiry in the assessment. all this step-by-step exercise has to be done. Then you can infer bogus donation. Otherwise, no. And why this is there? Because Article 265 of the Constitution is there. It says that no tax can be collected except by authority of law. And Honorable Supreme Court of India, in the case of Union of India versus Rajiv Bansal, 469 ITR 46, that Article 2, any tax assessment has to be fair assessment, has to be justified assessment, has to be legal assessment, has to be an assessment compliant with the provisions of the law to be valid in the law. That is Justice Chandrachud Saab has written in elaborate manner while quoting Thomas Cooley in case of landmark case of Union of India versus Rajiv Bansal in 469 ITR page 46. And Article 265 of Constitution of India also says the same. So, Tusharji, this is first part done, Bobeji. Now I am on second part. Can I come on second part now, sir?
Yes, sir. Would you like to take some questions on this
I
part
can take
now,
some questions. Some questions can be taken.
or would you like to take it all together, maybe?
नहीं sir, थोड़ा सा you can have some questions.
Okay, I think there are more than around 20, 25, 30 questions out here, but a lot of them are common. One is, what is a bogus donation, which I think you have already answered.
Yes.
Secondly, let's just view it from the chartered accountant's point of view. What would be the liability of a chartered accountant? Like, for example, somebody comes to you and declares that these are his particulars, and based on a good faith, maybe a chartered accountant files his income tax return. What would be primarily be the duty of a chartered accountant in
See, Bobeji, if you see, I will
in
answer.
first place, and secondly, what would be his, what are the precautions that he would take, and further going, what would be his liability? Would it mean that he has assisted him in?
This is Bobeji, very interesting question and very important. Whatever curious is, this is a very question, good question.
Because the discussion as of now has been from the legality point of view, but from precaution point of view, what is important?
I'm telling you, I got it. You know, Bobeji, on lighter side, in law side, we have two stages: preventive stage and post-mortem stage. You know, post-mortem stage कब आता है? When the act is done, हो चुका होता है काम. And preventive stage, what you are saying तब आता है when you are at the threshold stage, you have to take a call, due diligence, whether to do into this or not. So
Correct.
let me, and you are talking now from perspective of preventive stage.
Correct.
First stage, I will answer it very humbly in my limited understandings. Now, Bobeji, these cases are now taken up at the post-mortem. So our discussion was because department is alleging bogus. Now, if I take my back to the point that if today I'm filing a return, let us say for this assessment, ongoing return filing season, and I'm making a claim. So what I will do, Bobeji, I will just comply with the requirement eligibility criteria, which I said many times, that I'm making payment by check, and the concerned person is saying that I have this registration number of the political party, and that registration number is valid. Then it is due diligence is done of the concerned taxpayer. Now, as far as CA is concerned, there is no additional responsibility on you because this is personal return claim by the individual. As a corporate auditor, you can see that, again, you will only see the eligible thing which Mr. Jaitley has said and which the law is saying you. Are you getting? There are two types of deduction, one by corporate, one by individual. Now, if I'm individual, chartered accountant has no, sorry, if you are return preparer, do my understanding, you have no special responsibility because you are not luring him in the sense department is alleging it. It is allegation, sorry. Chartered accountant concerned, when you see, you know, you will understand. I give an analogy. Supposingly, you are filing a return today of Kapil Goyal. What you do as far as first thing you make matchmaking of 26 AS and all this annual information statement with my return and bank statement. But
Correct.
ultimately, if it is found to be wrong, the liability cannot come on CA, brother. The liability of the, if any penalty and assessment tax liability will be of the assessee concern.
Correct.
I'm saying from the Income Tax Act, law book, that if a return is verified by the concerned taxpayer, then responsibility to ensure that whatever claim is made in that is valid. But yes, in security assessment, not in 158 BC and BD.
Okay.
Chartered accountant picture में बहुत बाद में आएगा बोबी जी.
जी.
You are understanding. I am understanding from which hut you are asking now. You are getting my point. CA will come in the film at very later stage, and I don't know his guest entry can also be there or not. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
It will be between this war can be between the taxpayer and the revenue. This VAR cannot be between the chartered accountant. Yes, department can a case in which department says that this CA particular is filing 1000 ITRs which are fraudulent. There is different thing. Are you getting? This is exceptional allegation. But in general case, Bobiji, it will be not like this. Supposingly you are filing my ITR, I am making a contribution to political party. You see this basic thing Kapil Goyal ji has satisfied, then you will say, yes, Goyal Sahab, you can make this claim. What else you will see? And I don't know. See, Income Tax Act has some sections that if chartered accountant or concerned professional is found to be inducing some people to making some fraudulent thing, then definitely prosecution can come there. But yes, not like this. If it is you are getting what I'm saying?
Correct.
If it is a bona fide claim made on the date by the concerned taxpayer, and even if the bona fideness of that claim is later on probed by the revenue authorities, then the war will be between the revenue authorities and the taxpayer. And especially in the personal returns, individual returns. And in corporate returns also, brother, you will appreciate, Vishwanath ji, you can only check the eligible criteria of the concerned section only, na sir?
Correct.
Supposingly, let me take another case, 80G. If I am making a claim of 80G, what you will check? Maximum.
Correct.
You will check that na concerned person is the entitled having registration 80G and it is allowed. Now, if subsequently that person is found to be doing wrong activities, that is the donee, and its registration is Tusharji retrospectively cancelling 80G, can all the donors of that trust will be also under uska uda diya jayega donation? And sir, the chartered accountant cannot come in picture like this.
Yeah.
Your duty is to just see basic things. And I don't know, they are saying that last day 44 AB also they have released. I don't know, I don't know. You can correct me, Mishnaji. I don't know, a chartered accountant concerned has a very serious duty to check the claims of the assessee, personalized claims, this like 80 GGC beyond a particular level, sir. Sorry.
Correct.
And only till the primary level that basic conditions of the section are satisfied, you can only see them.
Okay. Another question is, suppose if the donation happens to be bogus,
right?
So what is the recourse? Only updated return is the only recourse, or if the issue you are noticed, can an updated return be filed after the notice is issued?
See, I again, this is also a very interesting question. You can note a pen paper. This is a very interesting question. There are three scenarios. This is like a serious chartered accountant. Scenario number one, Vishwanath bhai, you file updated return, you make maximum payment of tax, and law जो कह रहा है, उसका condition भी updated return का. I can use little bit Hindi also, na sir?
Yes.
So little bit Hindi is allowed. So 150, you know what I'm saying. Some friends are there from South. They say, Mr. Goyal, you only speak in English. See, we are from North India, so sometimes we have to speak in like this. And courts also we say. Anyhow, what I was saying, that one scenario is this, in which you file updated return, you make payment of tax and penalty according to the law. And but Bobiji, there is a point, there is a condition there. If updated return cannot be filed like this. If now such has happened, there is a disabling clause also there. You know what I'm saying? Updated return cannot be filed like this. You have to check section 139 subsection 8A, and there is a serious disabling clause, Tushar, where there is stated that these people are persona non grata, person not welcome for updated return. That is, they are out of purview of updated return. And there the people like जिनका 132 से लिंक है रिसर्च से, वो नहीं आ सकता है. तो anyhow, अभी बोबे जी क्या है? Scenario one is updated return. You make payment of tax and inbuilt penalty. There is a lot of amount. Second is you wait. You don't pay anything. You fight. You fight till end like Mahabharata. Complete end. I was quoting Lord Krishna. You have proper Mahabharata and trial, fair assessment, all these things. In between, you can it be like this? Somebody asked that, Mr. Goyal, we have not issued 158 BC. Abhi hamara notice nahi aaya hai. We make plain paper pay Bobe ji. On plain paper, we compute our tax liability. Let us say I was claiming 1,000 rupees bogus deduction. This so-called bogus deduction. I make enhanced normal income tax liability and I pay through a challan. And just intimate Tushar to the department. It's not through updated return. It's like this. I make an informal kind of a tax payment, treating my donation in question as on voluntary basis, that I make payment tax of Bobeji on a revised computation. Note this word, revised computation. And I inform the department whether it is okay. this is an interesting issue. Some people and court says yes, it can be done. It is not required that a taxpayer has to mandatorily follow the route of updated return. Even through this informal route also you can, because if you will do this, what will happen, Bobeji? They will definitely issue you 158 BC and BD notice, this reopening notice, and then assessment will be done. But what will practically happen? This can also be a way to prove your bona fide that yes, you have made voluntary surrender kind of a thing, and but you are still contesting. So updated return is one scenario. Fighting, not surrendering at all is second scenario. Third scenario is making informal voluntary compliance by making payment through revised computation is third scenario.
So at
Fourth
least to
scenario-
prove that,
Sorry?
at least to prove that you do not have any malified intentions.
But sir, brother, this payment of tax, in my opinion, also is not good, because it will again, it is not according to the sequence of the constitution, this healthy sequence of the law. First, they have to establish it is bogus, na Bobeji. Who can see? You are not issued a 158 BC. You are not given any approval. You are not given any material, incriminating material. Only on the basis of newspapers and all these things, CBDT press release, can I believe my claim is also in question? Then where the sequence will go, which we have discussed, which is as per law, which is as per Constitution of India, which we'll just discuss, which is as per Income Tax Act, which is as per Article 265. So I will not suggest to payment make up like this, that to even through normal. I will say you have to first you have to see that what department has in possession against assessee concern.
Okay.
Are you getting my point, sir? That's my
Yes. Yes.
next question.
Second thing is like how you mentioned in the course of your speech that there has been allegations that you have given in check and the political party has given you back in cash or something like that.
Right.
So
right.
how do you defend these type of allegations?
That is why burden of proof and section, there has been a lot of decisions. I can tell one decision of Bombay High Court from your side, sir. Prabhat Properties. One should note this order. This is a landmark order. And in this case, Bobeji, what Bombay High Court has I'm just telling you. This is a decision of Honorable Bombay High Court in case of Prabhat Properties, where the issue was this, that what is this concept of section 103 of the Indian Evidence Act? Prabhat Properties Private Limited versus ACIT. The writ petition number 2827 of 2022, concept of shifting owners. I am reading, Bobeji, this answers a lot of queries which you asked. As per section 103 of the Evidence Act, the burden of proof as to any particular fact lies on that person who wishes the court to believe in its existence, unless it is provided by any law that the proof of fact shall lie on any particular person. This section amplifies the general rule in section 101 of the evidence law that burden of proof lies on the person who asserts the affirmative of the issue. I take a pause. जो कह रहा है, who is alleging, he has to first establish as per section 101 and 103 of the evidence law. It lays down that if a person wants the court to believe in its existence, the onus of proving is on him unless the burden is cast by any law on particular person. So let us take the case. You have evidence. You have proper donation receipt. You are making payment through banking channel. Then onus is on the revenue to establish what they are saying, how they are saying bogus. That's my point, sir. And unless that onus is discharged, negative onus is not on me to Bobeji to say that yes, my claim is bona fide. It will be impossible. Can you make impossible onus like you prove that you are innocent and department not proving you are guilty?
Another thing that members have been asking is, can a prosecution be, I mean, the assessees are being threatened with prosecution proceedings. Can a prosecution proceeding be initiated before
on
complete
lighter side,
assessment?
on lighter side, Bobeji, on lighter side, I say one thing. When we qualified CA in 2004, I qualified. And now in 2025, and after 20 years of my practice with the courts, etc., ITAT, now in High Courts and Supreme Court, I remembered, and you correct me, Bobeji, you can note on pen and paper this thing. What is the first act in the, in a sequence manner? First act is you file ITR, note it, ITR filing. Second is your assessment. Third is penalty, and fourth is prosecution. It can't be reversed, bhai sahab, ki leg upar and head down. It can't be top down. It has to be sequential. Return, assessment, penalty, prosecution. It can't be parachute landing straight away on the prosecution. Department is saying in a reverse manner because they believe, see, unka kaam kya, you are luring to come forward. You say first prosecution, then penalty, then assessment, then return. Are you getting my answer, sir?
Yes, yes.
Prosecution cannot be launched, Bobeji, until and unless tax assessment is done and penalty proceedings are done. Prosecution can come at the Ganga Sagar stage, not at the Gangotri stage. Are you getting my point? It can't be the beginning of the proceedings, prosecution. Prosecution comes at the last end, sir. Sorry, yes. Next question, sir.
Which are the now that you have rightly given the chronology of impact, what are the likely penalty charges or proceedings that are likely to get hit?
See, you know, this, if this, see, that's why, Bobeji, this is very important, which you ask. Again, it's a very relevant question. 158 BC or BD, if the section is applied, then the penalty section will be 158 BFA. You can note 158 section BFA. I don't know. In the Income Tax Act, this BFA, etc. word will be removed. Bill in this Income Tax Bill 2025. But sorry, in the Income Tax Act today, 158 BFA is there. When block assessment will be done, penalty will be in 158 BFA. You know, Vishnaji, department has been again seriously confused that which is the section to be used qua assessment for the searches taken place after 1st September 2024. I took this question. So 158 BC and BD are done, then penalty under block can be only levied in 158 BFA. Please note this section 158 BFA. 158 BFA penalty, Bobeji, cannot be levied unless and until there is strong, very, very strong evidence against the assessee of any fraudulent cash circulation. That is my submission, sir. Next
Yes.
question.
You mentioned that the proceedings will take place under section 158 BC and BD. Then can I think only in case of the searches carried out after a particular date, right?
1st September 2024.
24. So before that, it
All
would
these
go on.
searches are done, sir. Brother, all these searches on political parties and these cases are after September.
Okay, okay. So no notice can be issued under 148. I mean, it cannot go
148.
on.
Yes, this is very clear. That is why I took this question directly. Because they are seriously misconceived. Whatever notice they have issued in 148, based on the search after 1st September 2024, in my humble and respectful understanding, that is totally invalid, known as nullity, void ab initio, without jurisdiction.
Yes, sir. I think we can continue now. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
I'm happy that people have understood me at least. These questions, you know, I was thinking that how many people, and Vishnu Bhai rightly said, this is a very hot point. All these questions which you told now are very relevant questions. Anyways, I am also
Yes, all questions were revolving around these type of queries, particularly from the chartered accountant point of view. I think we have responded to almost.
Jaitley Saab, I'm telling you again, Jaitley Saab, when they brought this law into the Income Tax Act through election laws, that speech of Jaitley Saab is very clinching in the favor of the SSE and against the revenue. I'm telling you. I read that.
Yes,
Anyhow,
we can now move to the second part of the
constitution opinion. Whatever time is there, I will try to do justice. But brother, you know, again, it requires separate session. Give my if Vishnu Bhai comes. Anyhow, it's a very 3-hour topic with me. I have to condense now in 30-40 minutes. So
yes, please.
please Vishnu Bhai, क्या कह रहे हैं? Vishwadhan Bhai, क्या कह रहे हैं?
Please continue.
Sir, you know, I was just watching when our constitution came. Bobeji, you can open your video, please. When the constitution came, just 30-40 minutes, it will be very interesting. You should also love. This is a different discussion today. Constitution of India, when it was adopted in the Constituent Assembly in 1950, you know, B.R. Ambedkar Sahab, what they say. I want to quote him before I come to this, and I have made to quote Dr. B.R. Ambedkar concluding speech in the Constituent Assembly, which is relevant today as it was in 1949. Quote, however good a constitution may be, it is sure to turn out bad because those who are called to work it happen to be a bad lot. Bad lot. You are noting? And however bad a constitution may be, it may turn out to be good if those who are called to work it happen to be a good lot. What do you understand from this, Bobeji? That people who are administering constitution, if they are good lot, then bad constitution can also be good. But if people who are administering the constitution are bad lot, then good constitution will also become a bad constitution. This is B.R. Ambedkar Saab saying. Now, again, it says constitution, the learned B.R. Ambedkar Sahab said, father of our constitution, constitution is not a mere lawyer's document. It's not a mere lawyer document like Kapil Goyal's document, something. It is a vehicle of life, and its spirit is always the spirit of age. Its spirit is the spirit of the age. And latestly, Justice J.B. Pardiwala is there in the Supreme Court, and there has been an issue, Bobeji, that what is the importance of a constitution in any nation's life? Because before coming to chartered accountants' perspective of the constitution, which we are to discuss today, it is important to understand what is the importance of constitution in a nation's life. To quote Honorable Justice J.B. Pardiwala Sahab in the case of state of Tamil Nadu versus governor of Tamil Nadu, where the powers of governor were discussed in 560 pages, 500 pages by Supreme Court, state of Tamil Nadu versus government of Tamil Nadu. To quote him, I am reading from the judgment, paragraph number 441, the soul of India is its constitution, our republic the foresight of dynamic visionaries. What a great edifice they built, ensuring sovereignty with democratic values. The constitution is our bedrock, ensuring our safety and security. It outlines a process that keeps us rooted in values. We need it. We read it for reference and for every policy decision. Without it, Bobeji, please note these lines. These are what only Pardiwala Sahab can articulate it in such a nice manner. Without it, we would be lost and make many mistakes. Without constitution, we would be lost and make many mistakes. It is now 75 years old. Our constitution, Bobeji, is now 70. What is the age of our constitution? 75 years old. But we still keep turning to it. Why? Why we keep turning to constitution? Because it guarantees our rights, sets benchmark for our responsibilities. The laws and rules that uplift all people sprout from its pristine womb. Welfare of all is its primary concern, but its sanctity and safety should be our prime concern. This is Justice Pardiwala speaking for Supreme Court in case of Tamil Nadu versus governor, that governor's power case, 500-page decision. What is the importance of constitution? And in this paragraph, he says it is the soul of a nation, and its safety and thing is the prime concern. In another paragraph, Bobeji, he writes, Justice Pardiwala, the constitution is not a maze but a labyrinth. You know what is the difference between maze and labyrinth? I never knew the difference between maze and labyrinth before this. And especially for constitution. The constitution is not a maze but a labyrinth. Although both may semantically appear to be one and the same, yet there is a very fine but discernible difference between the two. The difference lies in the fact that in a maze, one may lose their way within the multiple overlapping paths. In maze, you may be lost. But in the labyrinth, one eventually finds the way and in the process comes more enlightened. You know the difference given by Justice Pardiwala? Constitution is a maze or a labyrinth. He says it is a labyrinth because in maze you are lost. In labyrinth you come enlightened. Then his lordship says, similarly, any questions emanating from the constitution or pertaining thereto, such as the constitutional vagaries of a law, must be uncovered through the foresightedness of the constitution. So, sir, there can be no better decision or encryption by Justice Pardiwala. You can again note the citation of the judgment. State of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu, 2025 INSC 481. 360-degree view on importance of constitution. This is a 500-page order, Bobeji. Ambedkar Sahab what told, I told, Pardiwala Sahab what told, and our present Chief Justice Sahab is Justice Gawai. You know what he says from past? He says, his lordship, our great Chief Justice of the country today, he says that unless and until, Tusharji, people are aware of its fundamental rights, rights are of no value. There has to be awareness about the rights. And today's this webinar of your committee from perspective of CA is to highlight or bring in focus what are the rights of the taxpayer and chartered accountant concerned as far as constitution are concerned. Which B.R. Ambedkar Sahab says his constitution is not a mere lawyer's document. Bad lot versus good lot. And what Mr. Pardiwala says that constitution is not a maze, is a labyrinth. And what Justice B.R. Gawai Sahab says, the Chief Justice of the country, that constitution and its rights are of it is the duty of every government to educate all people that what are their rights, Bobeji. And fourth point, our former Chief Justice before the Justice Gawai was Justice Khanna. And there was a very interesting situation. We are not, none of us are politically like that. But I'm just making out a point. I read a case where the Supreme Court was taking cognizance of some statement in the parliament by some MP against the Chief Justice Khanna or the Supreme Court. And there was a Waqf law. There is a Waqf law whose constitutional validity is challenged before the Supreme Court. There was some statements by some politicians, Sharmaji, on against that particular thing. I'm not on that. But what is the point of constitution and court's role? Bobeji, Supreme Court Justice Sanjeev Khanna Saab, the Chief Justice of the country, former Chief Justice of the country, has highlighted in a recent case that it is the duty of the constitutional courts to uphold the constitution in all scenarios, be it High Court or be it Supreme Court. And constitutional courts are High Court and Supreme Court. And it is their foremost duty to see that constitution is, everybody acts as per constitution. Everybody means, sir, what are the three players in the our system? One is legislature, one is executive, Tushar, and one is judiciary. Justice Khanna, when he was saying that some parliamentarians are not happy that Supreme Court has admitted the petition to check the vires and constitutional validity of a legislation that is Waqf law, they are not happy. They reminded them. And the language is very, I'm not able to get it. Anyhow, I'm just telling you from my memory. The judgment this is Nishikant Dubey's case, there the Supreme Court has pointed out, and it has come in newspaper, Bobeji, is worth reading. It's a 7-page order for every student of law. It's an eye-opener thing that what is the importance of constitution in today's scenario? What is the role of constitutional courts in today's scenario? What is the doctrine of judicial review? And why courts must entertain petition challenging constitutional vires and examine whether a law made by parliament is constitutionally fit or not, correct or not. So Khanna Saab said, Saab, why you are unhappy if we are admitting a petition of a particular citizen that whether a law made by the legislature is within its competence as per the Constitution of India? What is the problem to you? Because this is the specific power of judicial review given by the Constitution to the Constitution. What is judicial review, sir? Bobeji, what is judicial review? Today's our scenario, most important constitutional doctrine is judicial review. What is judicial review?
You can tell it better, sir.
Judicial review, Dwaveji, is the power given by the Constitution via various articles, which I'm just narrating you, which gives specific powers to the High Court and Supreme Court to check whether a particular action of the legislature and executive is within the constitutional framework or not. What are those articles? Please note where judicial review power is given. Let us take judicial review doctrine first. I will go doctrine wise, sir. Now, what is judicial review doctrine, sir? Judicial review doctrine is contained in various articles. I am telling you some articles which you can please note in summary manner. Article 13. Article 13 says, Bobeji, that any law means any rule, any notification, any circular by any government, state. The word used the law article is Article 13 says, I'm reading all, it says, the state shall not make any laws, state shall not make any law which takes away or abridges the rights conferred by this part, and any law made in contravention of this clause shall to the extent of contravention be void. This is Article 13 sub Article 2. Please note, Bobeji, Article 13 sub Article 2. It says that if government makes any law, parliament makes any law, legislature, state legislature makes any law, which is violating the constitutional fundamental rights or any provision, constitutional provision, then it can be declared void as per Article 13 sub Article 2. So first power of judicial review is contained in Article 13 of the Constitution of India, that it clearly says that any law made in contravention of the fundamental rights, Bobeji, will be void. GST has come. Income tax is always amended by Finance Act and GST also. There are various provisions which are made by the legislature, which are apparently also and which otherwise seems to be giving draconian and dangerous powers to the this executive. Their constitutional validity has to be challenged, and it can be challenged by Article 13 sub Article 2. And it is part of judicial review. Second, Article 32, sir. You can directly move to the Supreme Court in petition under Article 32. Article 13 was first, Article 32 is second. That citizen of a country can directly move to the Supreme Court to protect its fundamental rights against any act of the legislature or executive. When I say the act of legislature or executive, it can be commonly called as act of state. Legislature is parliament and lawmaking, and executive is the person who is implementing the policies, like income tax officer, AO, and GST officers. But both are governed by constitution, Bobeji, you know. That is why Justice Khanna's words should not be forgotten. In Dubey's case, that every organ of the state, and B.R. Gavai Saab has also said that every organ of the state has to work according to constitution. And doctrine of judicial review I am discussing, Article 13 is one, Article 32. Right to move directly to the Supreme Court by any person that who feels his fundamental rights are violated. What are fundamental rights, Bobeji? You know, this is the beauty of this our great constitution, that it confers some great rights, and that is why Justice Gavai Saab's point, that without knowing that you are having rights, rights are of no use. Please note, for what you can go to the Supreme Court and High Court, and what are your fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution, Holy Constitution of India. Please note, I am giving you in a simple sense. Right to equality, Article 14. That you will not be discriminated by the state, you will not be treated arbitrarily. Article 14, right to equality by the state, that you will be treated in the equality manner. State shall not deny equal protection of the laws, is the equal protection doctrine contained in Article 14 of the Constitution of India. And you know, Bobeji, this article is in ocean. It's my favorite article. There are two important doctrines in Article 14 of fundamental right, and it's fundamental right. Bobeji, can you tell what is equality clause? What do you treat as equality? Supposingly, an income tax officer is making an assessment which is arbitrary assessment, or which is without application of mind. There are majority of assessments, to my understanding, are without application of mind and arbitrary. Can you say an assessment, tax assessment, which is arbitrary is violative of Article 14? Yes. Supreme Court in obtain number of decisions has said that any act of any authority, be it legislature or executive, if Tushar, it is arbitrary, if it is without application of mind, then it is violative of equality protection clause in Article 14. Why? Because something which is arbitrary, it is opposite to equality. Have you got it? So if fundamental right is violated, you can go for judicial review, and you can go for judicial review by High Court and Supreme Court, Bobeji. But Article 14, which gives you right of equality, you can note one of the most important right which is applicable in tax laws and chartered accountant practices, right of this non-arbitrariness point, that any act arbitrary is violative of Article 14. I made a separate paper, sir, containing all the decisions of the Supreme Court till date, that how Article 14 has evolved vis-a-vis non-arbitrariness and arbitrariness doctrine. You can note this doctrine of arbitrariness. Anything which is arbitrary includes non-application of mind. It is violative of equality protection fundamental right, Article 14. And you can go to the High Court and Supreme Court for its judicial review. Are you there? Arbitrariness is a very important. Second, Article 14, you know, Bobeji, what is the, you know, we daily as a chartered accountant and tax professionals feel that principle of natural justice are to be followed. Abhi hum ye bhi discuss kar rahe the thodi der pehle. Few minutes ago, when we were discussing bogus deductions, I was highlighting that principles of natural justice have to be followed. What is the constitutional provision from which this natural justice doctrine, natural justice principle is flowing? Article 14, noted. Arbitrariness protection is given by Article 14. Natural justice thing is flowing from Article 14. So, if you are violated, your natural justice is violated. That is, and how natural justice is violated, Bobeji? If I talk about faceless assessment, your replies are not considered. Your oral hearing is not given. You are not given please note these 3 points. You are not given oral hearing, video conference hearing. Your replies on the record, material on record is not considered. Number 2, you are not given proper show cause notice. 4th, you are not given reasoned order. Please note these 4 points. All these are violation of natural justice. All these are violation of Article 14. I repeat, not giving oral hearing, not giving proper show cause notice, not considering the reply of the assessee, not passing reasoned order is all violative of Article 14 of Constitution of India. Because the mother worm of this natural justice is Article 14, sir. So arbitrariness protection is from Article 14. Natural justice thing is from Article 14, equality. Third, please note, Bobeji, fairness. Fairness. Fairness in tax assessments. CPC 143(1), intimations. No fairness. No fairness, sir. You have seen intimations of CPC, na? How the CPC intimation? See, somebody says, ki Mr. Goyal, whether this constitutional protection will apply to the intimation done by CPC. Answer is 100% yes. No act of Bobeji of any income tax authority or any authority is immunized from Article 14. Please note it. Are you noting? Any act of any authority has to be compliant to Article 14. It has to be non-arbitrary. It has to be compliant to natural justice. Third, it has to be fair. What is fairness, Bobeji? When you say something is fair, it is fundamental right, sir, to be treated in a fair manner. You know, linking it with the constitution and saying it in the normal manner, it makes a hell lot of difference. It's your constitutional guarantee that you will not be treated in arbitrary manner, you will not be violated natural justice, and you will not be treated unfairly. And it is attacking Article 14, and it is part of judicial review. So I have given you one fundamental right. We discussed Article 14. Next is Article 19. There are various rights in Article 19, right to carry freedom, right to carry business, right to move from one place to other. But most important is right to carry business, Bobeji. Supposingly you are doing a business, department is sealing your premises or something, then your right to business is imparted, but that can be only reasonable restriction. Article 19 gives you right to carry on business. It is part of fundamental right. So for violating fundamental right to carry on business also, you can move to the judicial review. So two fundamental rights I told, one equality, Article 14, second is Article 19. Third is Article 21, which is very, 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 very important, Bobeji, nowadays, right to life and right to liberty. When GST authorities and many tax authorities are given this power of arrest, and Article 21, liberty and personal liberty of the people are infringed. I am telling all my viewers to see it in lens of Article 21. Lens of Article 21 means right to life and right to liberty. What Article 21 says? Article 21 says that no person right of life and liberty will be deprived except by procedure established by the law. Except by procedure established by the law. And our great tax authorities, Bobeji, with due respect to them, when they violate these rights of liberty, they forget, Sharmaji, that what is my right to life and liberty. When they make search, we were discussing just that these income tax search actions on various premises are to be also checked in lens of Article 21. Whether they are compliant to life and liberty, because Supreme Court in 9-judge bench order in KS Puttuswamy case, Bobeji has said right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. Right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. And even tax authorities' action can be checked whether they are compliant to Article 21 or not, especially when they infringe the taxpayers' privacy rights. So three fundamental rights, Tushar Samaji, I told, one Article 14, Article 19, Article 21. Fourth right, which is not fundamental right, but it is a constitutional right, Article 265. That every taxpayer has the right to be assessed in accordance with the authority of the law. Article 265, one of the most important right of the taxpayers. That no tax can be collected and levied. Two words are written, collected and levied. Collection of tax and levy of tax has to be in accordance with the authority of the law. There is a judgment of Supreme Court of India a few days ago, and I request all my viewers here today to please take note of this landmark epochal order of Supreme Court of India. It was in context of GST. And the name of this decision is ASP Traders versus State of Uttar Pradesh. A for Ahmedabad, S for Switzerland, P for Parrot. ASP Traders versus State of Uttar Pradesh. Judgment dated 24 July 2025 by Justice Mahadevan. ASP Traders versus State of UP. And it's a landmark order, Tusharji, where Supreme Court in context of Article 265 and in context of tax law, that is GST law, and action of GST authorities, why proper show cause notice, why proper reasoned order, why valid collection of tax is important, and why Article 265 compliant tax assessment is important. In my humble opinion, today's topic of constitution vis-a-vis the tax laws and chartered accountant practice, Article 265 is very important. and as articulated by Mr. Justice Mahadevan Saab, in case of ASP Traders versus State of UP on 24 July 2025 is a landmark order. And it says, if I may read one or two lines of this point judgment, it says that the principles of natural justice mandate that when a taxpayer submits a response to a show cause notice, the adjudicating authority is to consider such a response and render a reasoned speaking order. This is not a mere procedural formality, but a substantive safeguard ensuring fairness in quasi-judicial proceedings. Again, concept of fairness. Then it is now settled that failure to issue a speaking order, then he says that any consequential action, including imposition of tax or penalty, would be then unsupported by authority of law, thereby potentially violating Article 265 of the Constitution of India, which prohibits the levy or collection of tax except by authority of law. In this judgment, Judge Sahab has very beautifully coined out why Article 265 compliance to all tax assessments is must. And I'm telling Tusharji, this today what we are discussing, judicial review, constitution, and these fundamental rights and constitutional right. So 3 fundamental rights: Article 14, equality; Article 19, fundamental right to carry on business, etc. Article 21, right to life and liberty; and Article 265, right to be assessed in accordance with law. And 4th, this is not fundamental right, Article 265, it's a constitutional right, Bobeji. 5th is the Article 300A. Please note, this is also very important, Bobeji, in income tax practice and GST practice and CA practice. Article 300 capital A. It says that no person property can be taken by the state except in accordance with the procedure of the law. Supposingly your anything is seized, confiscated, then it has to be in accordance with the norms of the law. Article 300 capital A says no person's property can be seized, confiscated, or taken by the state except by the procedure established by the law. In my humble opinion, various seizures, forfeitures, these confiscations, and these things which department and various authorities have done, in my humble opinion, they are violating Article 300 capital A, which is right to property. You are getting my point, sis? So 3 fundamental rights, 2 constitutional rights. If any of these rights, Bobeji, is violated, then you can go for judicial review. I was discussing just judicial review. Let me continue with that. Article 13, Article 32. Now, Tusharji, third important article in the chain of judicial review is, first was Article 13, second was Article 32, third one is Article 136. Now, Article 136 is special leave petition to the Supreme Court by any particular petitioner, SLP. Article 136, it's an SLP by any person. You know, this SLP provision is a very important, large provision giving Supreme Court to interfere in any order of any authority or tribunal where they feel that injustice is done. So Article 136 is a part of judicial review, very, very important article in the Constitution of India, which gives power to the Supreme Court to interfere in act of any authority wherever Constitution or any law is violated. Then comes most rampantly used articles of the Constitution in our day-to-day practice, Article 226 and Article 227. Ye kya hai, Bobe ji? Writ petition. Article 226. See, Article 32 was petition to Supreme Court. Article 136 is SLP before Supreme Court. Now, High Court, now this is the power given to the High Court by the Constitution of India, where judicial review is done by High Court at the first level, which is contained in Article 226 and Article 227, which gives special and wide power to the High Courts of every state to interfere in act of any authority, etc., wherever they find that any person's fundamental right is violated or any constitutional right is violated. You know what is happening, Bobeji? In nowadays, tax appeals are not more, writs are more. Why? Why writ petitions are more filed than tax appeals are there? Because people want to go to the High Court to get the justice in the speedy manner. And High Court has this special power that they can render justice effectively. I don't know, some time ago when Chitle Sahab was there, then there was a special, I don't know, our institute has also released some book, Tusharji, on how the chartered accountants can use Article 226 writ petition, etc. But I am telling you, this is an ocean, Bobeji. Article 226, as Falias Nariman has been one of the leading lawyer of our country, he says one of the searchlight provision in the Constitution today is Article 226. Why he says it's a searchlight provision? because this gives enormous special and extraordinary power to every high court in the country, that they can interfere in any act of any authority, parliament, state, legislature, executive, wherever they find any kind of injustice is done. If a reopening is done, 148, if a 158 BC notice is issued, if a wrong assessment is made, then high courts are allowed to interfere in Article 226 in acts of all authorities wherever there is taint of injustice, sir. So the power of judicial review is specially given to the high courts under Article 226 and Article 227. Both are siblings. And final is, Bobeji, this Article 245, that every law made by Parliament and legislature shall be compliant to the union list and state list, all this. Article 245, that subject to the provisions of this constitution, Parliament may make laws. Matlab, Parliament cannot make laws without adhering to constitution. That is Article 245. So judicial review doctrine is coming from 6 articles. I repeat, Article 13, Article 32, Article 136, Article 226, 227, and Article 245. But I am telling you, Bobeji, this judicial review doctrine is a magnificent doctrine. It is the power given to the High Court and Supreme Court, especially in the Constitution of India, wholly expressly. In US Constitution, if you compare, this power is derived. But in our Constitution, Indian Constitution, it is specifically given to the High Courts. And what is the importance in CS practice? That every act of every authority is under the scrutiny of the High Court and Supreme Court, via these 5 articles which I have written. I have made a special paper, Tushar bhai, on this judicial review doctrine. I will give a paper, people, this is 30-40 page paper, covering 360-degree view on judicial review. Today, I don't have too much time, but I am telling you, without judicial review, Bobeji, Constitution, see, can you say that if there is no right of person to go to the court to challenge the law or act of authority, can Constitution be enforced? Supposingly, if there is no right of judicial review, can a constitution be there in reality? Various scholars have said, and Supreme Court has said, constitution will remain on paper if power of judicial review is minus. So I hope I have discussed judicial review, sir. So doctrine of judicial review I have told. And fundamental rights, I repeat, Article 14, Article 19, Article 21, 3 fundamental rights and 2 constitutional rights, Article 265 and Article 300 capital A. Are you there, Bobeji? These are the 5
Yes.
important rights. And judicial review, Article 13, Article 32, Article 136, Article 226, 227 and 245. There is another important doctrine of rule of law. You know, as a chartered accountant, what do you understand by concept of rule of law? Rule of law means that there has to be rule in accordance with law. There has to be income tax proceedings assessment in accordance with law. There has to be GST proceedings in accordance with law. And the rule of law is the basic feature of our constitution. You know, you can note it. First doctrine I discussed judicial review. Second, I am discussing rule of law. Without rule of law, there is nothing. Constitution of India will not be enforced. And if your rule of law has to be given in mathematical equation, some very good scholar, constitutional scholar has given equation of rule of law. You can note it down. Rule of law is equal to Article 14 plus Article 19 plus Article 21. Please note, rule of law in mathematical terms is equal to Article 14 plus Article 19 plus Article 21 is equal to rule of law. Equality, fundamental rights, and right to liberty and life. And I am telling you, Bobeji, every single person is impacted by rule of law point. Third doctrine. Third doctrine is, sir, doctrine of proportionality. You know, there is a very interesting doctrine, Bobeji, nowadays developing, that every act of parliament, legislature, and executive has to be proportional. You please note this doctrine. I'm telling you this word, doctrine of proportionality. Supposingly a person is to be given penalty in GST law or income tax law. The proportionality doctrine, proportionality doctrine is getting birth from again Article 14 equality clause. That if you are to be imposed a penalty, even for some tax law violation, then it has to be proportional to your conduct. Supposingly you have done violation, Tusharji, of 0 amount, 0 rupees to the revenue. Penalty will be of also how much? Supposingly there is no detriment caused to the revenue, but the department says there is a violation and we want to impose penalty. Can it be called as proportionality principle? I repeat, supposingly you have done a violation, breach, taxpayer, but no prejudice and no revenue loss. Can there be penalty for the same? Or in other words, the amount of loss caused to the revenue is very low, but the amount of penalty is many multiple times, which happens in hundreds of situations of TDS, TCS, GST. I'm telling you, please note, sir, doctrine of proportionality is the new norm. Coming out from Article 14 fundamental right, every act of every authority has to be proportional to the act of the concerned taxpayer. Then comes fourth doctrine, Bobeji, doctrine of prospective overruling. This is also a constitutional doctrine that if Supreme Court overrules something, then it can overrule from prospective effect. It is known as doctrine of prospective overruling. It's a very special doctrine based on US judgments. Doctrine of prospective overruling kya kehta hai? It says that if a judgment is overruled today, then Supreme Court can overrule it prospectively, not from beginning. So doctrine of prospective overruling is a very important doctrine in constitutional sphere. Constitutional court, Supreme Court can only do by prospective overruling. No, High Court can also not use doctrine of prospective overruling. So four doctrines today we discuss, sir. Doctrine of judicial review, doctrine of rule of law, doctrine of prospective overruling, and this particular doctrine which I discussed in between, doctrine of proportionality. And fifth doctrine I'm concluding is by doctrine of arbitrariness. If any act of any authority, be it income tax, be it GST, be it Benami, be it money laundering, be it enforcement directorate, is arbitrary, then it is violative of Article 14, sir. And it can be subject matter of judicial review, sir. And sixth point, Article 265, which is Justice Mahadevan's order I told. Rest we will discuss some other times. 5 o'clock is there. If there is any question on constitution, you can take. But I have tried to give outlines. Bobeji, I am just giving outline today. But this, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is my 3-hour session.
Yes. But I think you have made the concept very clear that we need to look at our litigation from probably constitution point of view, the
Right.
rights that
Absolutely.
rights that are enshrined in our constitution and in various doctrines of law, so that there is a complete different perspective that we would have looking at the cases that
And you these 5-6 doctrines are itself ocean, which I have discussed, discussed.
correct.
We can take some questions if they are there. Some questions.
There are many questions on the constitution front, but the clarity of thought with which you have explained and.
But I will give only one thing, sir, practical suggestion. Supposing
Yes.
if you are getting today any notice in income tax or GST and you want to approach it from constitution angle, how you can take it? Or as a from chartered accountant perspective, you can always read these articles which I have outlined you, Tusharji. Then you can compare the action of the particular authority in the lens of that articles and doctrines, and then make your reply with the same. Nobody can take offense if you are citing constitution to bring home your point. Can any authority say, we feel bad you are citing constitution to bring home your case?
But can these doctrines be argued or these rights can be argued before a lower level authority, or do you need to?
Yes, sir. That is what I'm saying. Why not it can be argued? Because that lower authority is more susceptible to the constitution, sir. That is why you see, there is a great fallacy, Bobeji, that this constitution applies to higher halcons. This constitution applies to all authorities acting under any statute in the country. Indian country, be it GST, be it income tax, be it Benami, be it anybody, and be it at any level. And if you are responding to any show cause notice or any notice to any authority, you can always take at the very first stage the help of these doctrines and these constitutional provisions and these constitutional principles which have overriding value. See, if you make a reply without citing constitution, let me take it like this. And if you make a reply citing constitution, what difference you see? The difference is enormous, sir. When you speak from constitutional language, Tushar, and when you speak from normal language, there is 1,000. See, if I speak from language of Ramcharitmanas, that Tulsidas ji say Ram Bharoso, Ram Bal, Ram Vishwas, Sumrat Sab Mangal Kushal, Mangat Tulsidas. If I say in language of Tulsidas ji and Ramcharitmanas or Bhagavad Katha, then my value will be, the words will go in different frequency. And I say in constitution, then the authority should welcome it more that yes, somebody is enlightening me with my constitutional duty and constitutional job. Rather, what happens, Bobeji, practically, you are right, that if somebody is citing constitution, they take offense.
Correct.
Rather,
Correct.
they should
Because-
see, I don't know, if you cite somebody Ramcharitmanas, can you take offense out of it? It is like this, sorry. I'm sorry. And to
No,
me,
but-
constitution is equal to Ramcharitmanas.
Correct. One question which has come is, and even in your speech you mentioned that that there are SSCs which go directly to High Court for the early redressal.
Right.
So in which cases is it possible that you can directly approach High Court or a Supreme Court without going through the
Please note it. This is
normal
a very,
process?
I am very happy that please note 3-4 points. I'm telling you. There are 3 or 4 areas where a wide Supreme Court landmark order by Justice Dipankar Datta in case of Godrej and Sara Lee Limited versus excise officer. Godrej and Sara Lee Limited versus excise officer. There are 4 areas at least where you can directly go, Bobe bhai, to the concerned High Court in judicial review. One is where there is violation of principle of natural justice. A. Are you getting? Second, first is when there is violation of principle of natural justice. Second, there is jurisdictional violation. That jurisdiction is wrongly assumed. Third is that there is fundamental right violation. Fourth is constitutional right violation. So in these 3 or 4 areas, you can directly knock the doors of the constitutional court to get the immediate justice because there is violation of natural justice, because there is violation of fundamental right stroke constitutional right, or because there is jurisdiction is assumed by the authority without fulfillment of jurisdictional condition of that particular section. For example, 148 is done wrongly, arrest is done wrongly, show cause notice under section 74 GST is issued wrongly, like that. Competent officer is not issued, to the wrong person it is issued, there is no proper satisfaction and application of mind. All these cases you can directly take. So it can be broadly classified into 3 heads or 4 heads. Violation of natural justice, jurisdictional issue, violation of fundamental rights and constitutional rights, and this can be further grouped into one point where there is pure question of law without disputed facts. Note it, please note this line. Pure question of law without any disputed fact, you can directly go to the High Court. That is Supreme Court stated in Godrej Sara Lee case by Justice Dipankar Datta Sahab, that where there is pure question of law and there is no dispute on the facts, then the litigant concerned can directly knock the doors of the Honorable High Court or Constitutional Court under judicial review for redressing his grievance.
I'll take one very interesting question and maybe an opinion sort of from you, is that in ITRU filing, you are required to pay 25%, 50%, and so on additional tax. How would you look at it from the constitutional point of view?
It is,
So
it
is
is
it
wrong.
fair?
It is unconstitutional because what
Is
is
it
happening,
fair?
brother? See, there is a wider latitude given under tax laws that government can impose the tax as per experiment also, and we say it is a economic loss. There is a hands-off approach, and wider latitude is given by constitution. This is a settled. But if you are making an updated return like this, that you say that the person is to pay penalty immediately on front in some kind of inbuilt penalty, then that has some unconstitutionality, because you can't treat the person to be penalty on the first stage itself. That is my humble submission. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
And
yes,
right, see, there are 2 takeaways from today's session, sir. Right to challenge the constitutionality of an act of parliament or executive authority. Wide constitution is a very important right. Please note, this right cannot be taken away. Uske baad, if you challenge it, you don't successful, that is another thing, Bobeji. But you can contest, you can challenge the constitutionality of every law, every act before the High Court. It is the specific right given by Parliament, and constitutionality cannot be examined by other authorities. Second takeaway is this, that judicial review power is not to the other authorities except High Court and Supreme Court. Or there is another, you can say, equity, justice, and good consent should be the basis of exercise of powers by the authority. Equity, justice, and good consent. Please note these 3 phrases. They are not sermons, homilies. They are practical phrases. Equity, justice, and good consents. So I don't know, when we go to the litigation side, and when we see a lot of actions happening of various authorities, and when we see, as you rightly say, from constitutional lens, from constitutional doctrines, from constitutional provisions, from constitutional protection, then the scenario changes, sir.
Yes, yes.
And right
So
to
thank-
right, oh, sorry, the what you say, to look at a particular thing from the angle of constitution, the horizon and the sense changes.
Correct, correct. Very true, very true.
So let me ask you, who is at the top in the legal frame? You can note constitution is at the top, Parliament Act is at second stage, rules are at the third stage, circulars notification is at the fourth stage, and portal, you is a very important sequence. Please note it. Constitution is at the top of the ladder, like Ganesh ji. Second is at the Act of Parliament. Third is the rules. Four is the circular notification. Fifth is the portal. Can you say the lower thing can override the upper thing? This is Kelson theory. Kelson theory of constitution says lower norm cannot violate the higher norm. So top norm is constitution. Second norm is act. Third norm is rule. Fourth norm is circular notification. And fifth is portal. Now, question came before Gujarat High Court Justice B.N. Karia Sahab. It's a focal point. Can income tax portal working say that we are immune from Article 265 and Constitution? Gujarat High Court in 2025 in the income tax matter said that portal is also to be functioning according to Article 265. CPC is also to work according to Article 265. So what you are asking me, Kapil Bhai, whether this Article 265 and constitutional protection applies at the first stage? Yes. Even to portal, Gujarat High Court says now portal is a stakeholder, income tax portal. And software has to also work according to constitution.
Yes, sir. I think with this, we'll conclude today's webinar. Fantastic session, sir. Beautiful deliberation on both the topics, bogus donations and deductions. And you have rightly pointed out the various issues as far as the searches that are going on are concerned, may it be in terms of their validity or the way forward the assessments are going to take place in 158 BC or BD, and more importantly the tax rate and the onus of proving the bogusness of all the transactions that the income tax department are alleging. And secondly, a fantastic discourse on the use of constitution in our income tax practice, a complete different viewpoint of looking at the cases that are in our hands, that we all are fighting, and whether any rights and the doctrines of the constitutions which have a much more effect could be invoked in fighting the cases. More than that, sir, your talk took us not just relating to the income tax law, but in a lot of other matters which are, I think, equally important, made in terms of constitution, or like how you mentioned the hierarchy of the entire legal system that we have in India, or the legal, what you call, documentation that we have in India, and that we need to adhere to. So I think today's session was a great learning experience personally for me, and I believe for all the
एक
webinar
रामचरितमानस की
attendees.
चौपाई है सर, यही में रघुपति नाम उधारा, अति पावन पुराण श्रुति सारा, मंगल भवन मंगल हारी, उमा सहित जही जपत पुरारी। फिर भगवान कृष्ण को भक्त क्या कह रहा है हिंदी में, मतलब देख सुदामा की दीन दशा, करुणा करके करुणा निधि रोए, पानी परांत को हाथ छुओ ना, निज आंसुओं से पग धोए। राधे राधे।
Yes, I think we'll conclude with that. Yes, thank you so much, sir, and thank you all of you for joining in large numbers and participating in discussions wholeheartedly. We had a lot of queries. I believe we could answer. I could take a lot of questions, and sir could answer a lot of them during his discourse. So thank you all of you, and looking forward for more.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you, Kapil sir. Thank you.
Give me a recording also of this, please.
Yes, sir.
yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.